All right, so if I want to find the exact value of cosine of 75 degrees, the first thing I have to do is decide how I can get 75 degrees. Do I want to add things together? Do I want to subtract them? Knowing my values from the unit circle, I'm working with things like 90, 60, 45, 30. How can I combine those numbers in some way to get 75? So the first thing I notice is I could do cosine of 45 plus 30 to get 75. So now that I know I'm adding them together, I'm going to go back to my list of identities and I'm going to look and say, okay, what's my rule for cosine when I'm adding two numbers? And I look and I see that my rule for cosine when I'm adding two numbers is cosine of A, or the first number, times cosine of B, or the second number, minus sine of A and sine of B. So now in this situation, A is 45 and B is 30. So all I'm going to do is go back into my formula, and anywhere I have an A, I'm going to replace it with 45, and anywhere I have a B, I'm going to replace it with 30, and then I'm just going to use my knowledge of the unit circle in order to simplify. So I'm going to end up with, cosine of 45 degrees times cosine of 30 degrees minus sine of 45 degrees times sine of 30 degrees. Then I'm going to look at my unit circle, and I know on my unit circle, I can see it, that 30 degrees has a coordinate of root 3 over 2, 1/2, and 45 is root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. So I'm going to use those two coordinates to fill in my formula. So cosine of 45 degrees is my x value at 45 degrees, which becomes root 2 over 2. Cosine of 30 degrees is my x value at 30 degrees, which is root 3 over 2, minus sine of 45 is my y value at 45, and sine of 30 is my y value at 30, which is 1/2. So now I've gotten rid of my cosines and my sines. I only have numbers left. I'm just going to combine these and simplify it as much as I can. So if I'm going to bring together root 2 over 2 and root 3 over 2, I'm going to get root 6 over 4, because remember I multiply straight across when I'm dealing with fractions, minus 1 times root 2 is just root 2 over 4. And then I can simplify this a little bit further to just get root 6 minus root 2 over 4. At this point, because the roots are different, I can't simplify that any farther.